Today I'm cooking at home and I am making fresh corn cakes. You can easily substitute frozen corn, potentially canned corn, although I've never tried that, but we happen to have fresh corn, so we're using that. To start with, I am trying to make some corn flour. I don't have corn flour on hand, but I have cornmeal. So I'm just blending the corn flour until it becomes very, very fine. Now, to cut the kernels off the corn, I think it's easiest to put the cob of corn in a sheet pan. And it's also important to make sure that one bottom or one side is stable, so it's cut flat. That way, when you cut, you don't potentially cut yourself. We need a couple cups of the fresh corn kernels, and that's approximately 2 ears of corn. Now we're going to finely chop some chives. On the right, you can see that very fine corn flour that I made in the blender versus the cornmeal. In a large measuring cup, we're starting with well-shaken buttermilk. We're gonna add a couple eggs to that. And we don't show it on camera, but we did put a little squeeze of honey in and some melted butter. And you wanna get in there, whisk everything really well. Now we're gonna add both of those flours, or the corn flour and the cornmeal. We're gonna use some baking powder, baking soda, and kosher salt. Give it all a good mix. And then we're going to add the wet ingredients. Once you add the wet ingredients, it's important not to over mix this. So as soon as you don't see pockets of dry, you're done. Now we're gonna add in those chopped chives, followed by the fresh corn kernels. And again, just mix to combine, but do not over mix. You can also add other things in here like minced jalapeno. You could chop up some cilantro, and you could even put grated cheese. That would be delicious. We're heating a skillet with canola oil over medium-high heat, and I'm using a cookie scoop or ice cream scooper to portion out my cakes. I was being lazy and I used a small skillet. I really should have gotten the larger skillet because trying to flip 3 in this was a little difficult and they didn't look quite as attractive. So again, I'm using a spatula to flatten out the mounds because we want to make sure they cook evenly. And then as soon as the bottoms are turning golden brown, you're ready to flip. Once that other side has a nice golden color to it, your cakes are done. You could keep this in a preheated 300-degree oven so that they stay warm before you're serving them. Just make sure you're putting them in an oven-safe plate. And here you can see we tried to only put 2 in the pan to make it a little easier to flip. And I also used the help of another spatula. And I also sprayed the red spatula with a little bit of canola oil. So that kind of helped a little bit. These corn cakes are fun to serve alongside some kind of barbecued meat, or you could even top them with some avocado slices, salsa, and some sour cream. For this recipe and more, visit myclasscancook.com.